All right, what we want to do now is to start our first module by downloading and exploring the content we're going to be working with and learning to serve the web pages locally so that we can experiment with them and get our own project going. So the first thing that you want to do is to open up the repository, and you can just click on this link here and it will open up a GitHub repository named Portfolio Image Resizing. You will go to the code button, click on it, and then download zip. This should download the repository as a zip file to your local downloads drive. I'm working in the Mac here, but it should work the same whether you're in Windows, Linux, or Mac. So once it's downloaded, we need to unzip it, and then you are ready to begin. Now, often I will actually create a projects folder so that I can keep things organized and move this into my projects folder. Once I've got that set up where I want it to work with, I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. And if you've installed it, you should be able to access it. I can just refer to code, type in code, and open it up. So once that's open, and let's just close out any old files. I can go to code and I can go to File, Open Folder. Since I put this in my projects folder, I can see that it's available there as Portfolio Image Resizing Main. So let's open that up. Now, since I've downloaded, I am in no way connected to that GitHub repository. I'm not going to be pushing to it. When I get ready to, in Module 4, deploy it, I can create a whole new repository against my organization or account. But for now, we're just going to work locally. So what I want you to look at are a couple things. Number one, there's an assets folder. So there are some assets that are currently associated with this. And there's an index.html, which is going to be an HTML file that represents the home page. There's an about HTML that represents a page where you can talk about yourself and share a picture of yourself. And on the index page, there's going to be a number of cards. This is using Bootstrap to create cards that you will describe your project in briefly, and then you'll have a button that you can click on to actually get into more detail. So each one of these pages has different requirements for images, which we'll be getting into in the next module. For now, what I really want to do is to open this up in a browser. So to do that, I have installed, if you go here to extensions, an extension called Live Server. And it is actually, let's see, Live Server Fiverr. So I like this one for my Mac, but there are a number of ways that you can, there are a number of extensions you can use that will open up an HTTP server, and you can even use Python or NPM to start a server. But I've got this enabled, and so what I can do now is I can go to my index.html. I can either right-click and open with Five-Server, or I have this Go Live button. If I click on that, it will actually open up index.html out of the root. And so what you see here is sort of a template. You have a web page that has a place for your name, a hero image here, 1600 by 300, and some project images, 400 by 300, and some buttons. And let's just expand this here. This is the full size. I'm working here on a 13-inch Mac. So if I go down and click on project details, I will get a 500 by 500 requirement for an image. And then if I click on about, I will get 300 by 300. And then for my skills, I've got a number of 200 by 200. So these empty image places are what we're going to fill in this project. And we're going to learn how to fill them in so that they are the correct size. And we'll look at what it looks like when they don't fit correctly, but we will be learning how to do that. and we'll be using some cloud tools to help us to crop and resize images. So have a look around and get this going, and then you will be ready to move on to the next module.